Hi!
Hey,
Welcome to the first ever episode of Bruja Behavior. It's your girl, Ali, la motherfucking Bruja, and I'm here with
Clarity.
Big Clarity. You heard? Now, I love Miss Clarity. Today we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about how we started this, who we are, what we do, why we're doing this, the whole shebang. So if you're new here, I need you before we even get into this. You gotta make sure you go hit that subscribe button
Yes.
because we need y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like
Subscribe.
y'all are a big motivator for why we even decided to do this. Just because, there's not a lot of platforms out there that are really talking about the things that we do. So it's crucial. It's imperative that you make sure that you subscribe right away. You heard? But first, let's jump into why we're even doing this. Even before we go into why, Clarity, who you is, girl? Where you from?
Hi, everyone. I'm Clarity, and I'm from New Jersey, currently off the grid.
We love that.
Yes.
We love that. And describe the off the grid life, because girl, a lot of us live in cities or burbs. Like, what does off the grid mean to you? And what are you learning about your off the grid experience?
Yeah, to me, off the grid means, having a retreat,
Okay.
having my own space where I could just be myself, be able to, ground most importantly, because I used to live like here in the city. Like everything was just so fast paced. It was just a lot going on. So I just wanted something different. And like being off the grid, like you really just sit there and just really be by yourself without any of the extra noise. And you're actually able to like reset your nervous system as well,
Yeah.
because when I say off the grid, I mean like I'm in el campo. So to all my Hispanics out there, when you hear el campo, like
Mm-hmm.
that's literally where I'm at.
Moo.
Yeah, farms, you got the cows, you got the goats, you got the chickens, you got the spring water, you got everything where you're just literally just living off land.
No, seriously. And I feel like that's such a vibe. You know what I'm saying? We're so used to city vibes and being in the burbs of anything. You when you hear I'm literally off the side in the farmlands, like where you get to actually see
Yeah,
stars.
you actually get to see stars. There's no pollution.
So yeah, like you can actually see the stars.
Yeah, there's no pollution at all. So it's like you're really just like in there.
Girl, have you seen a bear?
Yes and no.
Yes or no?
I saw bear shit. Yo, I was looking outside my window or whatever, and I saw a big pile of shit. And I was just like, yo, what the hell? This is not normal. I'm used to seeing the deers because they just, give like, they just drop pebbles.
Mm-hmm.
But then it looked like a dinner size plate of shit. And I was like, hey, yo, like, what is this? So, of course, I looked into it, and it was a black bear.
That's crazy. A dinner sized plate of shit is
Dinner
crazy.
size plate of shit. And that's just the beginning, baby, because I've seen snakes,
No, oh yes, you did send me
everything.
it. She did share a video of a snake, and I was like, "Yo, bro, that's kind of crazy." And
Yeah.
we'll drop a little snippet of what that looked like here,
Yes.
but that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not going outside, and I'm already anti bugs as it is, and we can jump into
Yeah,
why.
no.
But that's from my trauma, my childhood trauma of coming up in the hood. You just see a lot of crazy
Yeah.
stuff in there, but no, yeah, a snake would have took me out. I ain't going nowhere. So
It's always that window. I don't know what's up with that window because that's where I saw the pile of shit and the snake.
That's crazy. No, that's definitely crazy.
But yeah, now let's talk about Ali. Like,
Ali, no, that sorry. So a little bit about me. I guess the easiest way to describe me is I'm the go-getting friend, right? I'm the one who's always working, doing things. I myself am from the Bronx, but I currently also live in Jersey. But I'm in the city. I'm with all the folks, and I work in the community. But I'm also, which as does PC.
yes.
But we or my perspective is just I'm out here trying to build my business step by step, doing the things that make me feel happy. I'm a mom, and I'm about it. So I'm saying, I'm really hurt. No, but spiritually, I'm a whole different entity and someone who definitely values my spiritual practice. And if it weren't for my connection to spirituality, I wouldn't even be here today, in the capacity that I currently am. So I'm super grateful for my experience, and that's kind of what got me here. But definitely, I'm not off the grid. I can't imagine life outside of the city vibes. I appreciate buses and concrete street. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, it's something therapeutic.
I mean, you
Wow.
did grow up in the city, so
No,
it's
I did.
like,
And but you know what's funny is that like a lot of people, especially living in Jersey, everybody's like, well, like why you don't get a car? Like you need a car here because you gotta travel everywhere. Da, da, da. I like the bus.
yeah.
I enjoy the bus, and I'm not saying that there's not times where I'm like, damn, I wish I had a car because I could have got to and fro a little bit closer. I have no interest in having a car. I'm manifesting a lifestyle where Pablo's outside and he drives me around.
Period.
Right now, Pablo is currently my man and he drives me around, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, I just don't envision myself physically driving. Every time I've tried to get my driver's license,
Something was
something
happening.
happens. Like how many times have you offered to help
Yo,
me get
for real, girl,
to-
we were about to go like to the DMV together, even though it was like
It was
what
far as
40
hell.
minutes. I was like, nah, girl, we going.
we're going, and I'm just like, oh, okay, fine. And then I also do not agree with the way that Jersey has everything set up when it comes to the 6 points. So for example, in Jersey or here specifically, you have to get a permit to take the permit test.
Yeah.
That is not ridiculous to you. Why do I have to show you my 6 points, prove that I am who I say I am, just so I can take the written test? And then the written test is on a separate process. Whereas in any other state, you just get your documents, you schedule your like the same day. Like I don't have to prove who I am and do all this other extra stuff.
You know what's so funny? It's such a long process, but yet we have crazy people on the streets.
Exactly.
So honestly, you were really protected. I would say that was happening for a reason.
Yo,
because the spirits were trying to protect you from something.
I've seen some crazy things out here that we could talk about later in the podcast lane.
Okay, yup.
But I've seen some crazy things with drivers in New Jersey that have really taken away my interest in wanting to be a driver here.
Yeah.
But definitely that's how I got here. But how we met each other, right?
Oh,
How
yes.
we met each other. You want to tell the story?
Okay, so I went on an interview because I was looking for a new job. I needed to, go out there and work. And I was like, you know what? Let me dive into the medical field. Let's see what's up. So I went to an interview to be a receptionist for a doctor's office that she was managing, period. So that's how we started. Thank God she hired me because the other guy was not feeling me at all.
Hating, right? He was hating. He was like, I was like, no, that's the one. We need her.
So you saw the potential that I had and hired me.
Absolutely.
And ever since then, it's been history. You've been my
locked in.
big sis.
We've been locked in. You know what I'm saying? We've been like that. And it's funny because at one point she did leave. And even after she left, most times when people leave the job, they kind of like forget the experience. They go do their own thing. She came back. She came back within a couple weeks of her leaving and came back and chilled with me at the office for a little bit. Just to kiki. She was not playing. Like, that was how locked in we were. And ever since then, we just always stood.
It was natural. Like, I know I was like such a mess during that time.
No, girl.
But it was just so natural the way we connected. Because again, like, I'm like the oldest of, it's 5 of us. Right. And I've been the oldest, and even though I am the oldest, like I always craved like an older sibling, whether it was an older brother or older sister, that when I found you I was like, oh my God, like I can't let her go, like, because you were like the big sister I always wanted.
Oh no. And what's funny is that, see, I'm the best of both worlds. I'm the oldest and the youngest from both sides, right? Because my parents had children in their own rights on either side. So I've always felt like either not included or we're trial and erroring with her, right? And I feel like in a way, with being your friend or meeting you, you kind of were a reflection for me, like a mirror, kind of like, because you would call me out, or you would say, like, you would project back, and in a second I was like, nah, I gotta. So to me, I needed that, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I value our friendship so much, because in many ways, or in many capacities, you are kind of helping me further my growth process by me being able to help and big sis you kind of, also be like, nah. And you know what I'm saying? And that's essential. That's really essential in growth.
Yeah. And you know what's so crazy is that, like, we connected more because, so first, of course, our relationship started in a physical world.
Right.
Then we switched to spiritual quick.
Yes.
Because I remember I was, during the time, it was literally like the beginning of my whole spirituality.
Yes.
Because I was into tarot readings.
Yep.
I was into, like, all the things because I grew up with it. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that you were wearing spiritual necklaces, I was like, oh my God. I went up to her and I was like, those are spiritual, right?
Yep.
And then we literally just picked up from there. Like, girl, I was spilling the tea about everything that happened to me when I went to Dominican Republic, because that was when I really, really got into the spirituality as a client, not as a bruja, but like as a client. I got some jobs done there. Then you introduced me to the real shit, which is Padrino. Yeah, which was Padrino.
Which hopefully soon you guys will get to meet and get to like hear some of his wisdom.
Yes.
And that's literally how it was. Like, I remember that day I was at my computer, and it's funny because I never wear my beads out. Like, I really don't. I wear them around the house. I might wear them when I'm doing something, but you will never just see me go outside because I'm so protective of my spirituality. And that particular day, but also I'll say this, I was very early on in my own spiritual journey, I feel, so I didn't have as much discernment as I do now, and I had them on and I just tucked them in my scrubs, and she happened to peep the back of my neck.
Yup. A bruja knows bruja, like.
And mind you, I'm over here booking surgeries, like I'm locked in my computer, and she's like, ooh. And I'll never ever forget that. And it was so funny because immediately I consulted with our godfather, and I was like, somebody pointed out my stuff and they said this, and he was like, bring them to me.
Yup.
And sure enough, it's been history ever since. We've been locked in, and as a spiritual family, as a God family, we've been really tuned in to like making sure that we're progressing and growing, and we've been through a lot as a unit. That dang, sorry, you heard that?
Yeah, I heard that too. I just didn't want to like freak while we were
like,
on here.
Open my
Hold
door?
on, let me
God
since
damn.
that happened, let me adjust this real quick.
God damn. Yeah, so that was,
you know
like,
what that was? That was the spirits right there.
Probably like adjusting loosely. But yeah, we've been locked in ever since. So it has been real, and that you guys see coming up from the bottom. We wanted to make sure that the set was very spiritually in tune. We are in my living room, and the goal one day is to have a studio.
Yes.
But if we can continue to make this vibey, that's what we're going to do. So right now we're burning some fresh Abre Camino. And if you're familiar with Abre Camino, it's pretty much road opening incense. So we want to make sure that our roads are open and clear to communication with you guys, and that we're also opening the opportunity for you guys to come in and
join us, because not only we're doing this for ourselves, but we're doing it for just the bigger picture, to be able to find our community.
Which is a great segue. So how, in your opinion, why did you get into doing this?
Get into doing the podcast, or
the pod? Like, what made you want to say, why now for the pod, from your perspective?
So it's definitely like, if it's not now, then when? Like, I didn't want to waste any more time. We've been talking about this for years.
We sure have.
And I feel like we've come to a point where we were able to establish ourselves a lot in the nonprofit part of the world where we wanted to, get into being very community oriented based, because we're not just out here doing brujeria because for the hell of it. We're not trying to be out here trying to do Milo and shit. Like, we're actually out here to, heal, to protect, to provide justice when need be. And I felt like our podcast, we had to do it now to be able to, share our voice, to share our perspective.
Absolutely.
And start conversation, because it's such a taboo still subject when it comes to talking about brujeria, that I felt like the world is ready to hear of the personal development side of it, of finding yourself, of being able to develop family through it, and really see what our perspective of what we've been able to practice for years.
Absolutely.
And I feel like with all the lessons, the trials and tribulations of just what our spiritual journey is, I feel like now is really the time that, at least for me, I know I'm more level-headed now and at a really good healed place to be able to showcase and talk to everybody. And
and honestly, like, now is the time more so, because we couldn't be good to you if our cuppeth was not full, and that we didn't go through the things that we went through. I do genuinely believe that divine timing is a real thing, and you see how this smoke is coming over here, baby.
Yes,
you keep that, right? Divine timing is a real thing, and it's something that while it to us, we've been talking about it for years, but in general, it's something that we needed to wait for the right moment for. And I know, and I'm happy that the time is now. For me, I got into this because, again, I'm very business oriented in general. So I'm already working with Clarity on her project, which she'll get to deep dive into a little bit later. But my goal was, we want to not only find community and bring education towards the fact that there's all these negative connotations behind spirituality, as she mentioned, but that there's also an opportunity to tie into what it is that we do, because a lot of brujos and brujas are everyday people, and you don't even know, babes.
Loose.
You don't even know that that's what they're doing, and there's or you do know, and you're ignoring it, and you are choosing to only come at those who are open about what it is that they do, because ain't nobody saying nothing about Beyonce and Jay-Z, but we could talk about that later. You know what I mean? And they're very tied into it and tapped in. You know what I mean? And there's just so much hidden like messaging, and it's just like, stop. Just, you know what I'm saying? So now is the time to be open about it, but also not overly. You know what I'm saying? Because I also feel like there's some who just only do this, who only talk about whatever, when we are mixing in real life experiences with things that are, that's a part of our life, things that we do, our custom, our everyday. So that's kind of that's what brought me to doing it, and doing this and providing this for you guys. So if there's anything that I can do is use my voice, and that's how I plan to support this pod.
Luz. Well, I do have something for you.
Ooh, okay.
So your marketing background is real. So I'm glad that you brought that up during this conversation. Okay. But when did you realize brujeria and business actually lived in the same body for you?
Oh my God. I think, brujeria and business have always lived one in one, right? Because with brujeria, there has to be some form of payment for things to be able to get done. Like, if we want to take it back, right? If you wanted a reading or a consultation or a job, you had to pay. Whether that was stones, diamonds, offerings, whatever it was, you had to pay. So business and brujeria have always been hand in hand. I think for me, when I saw the tie-in, it was more, how could I use my brujeria or my ability to tap into these forces to help further what it is that I do. I always, before I could even become someone who's in marketing, I needed to do some inner work. So that was the first step. Brujeria helped me do the inner work that I needed to be able to be the person. And then the second step was then figuring out how I could use things I've learned to strengthen my skill set, whether that's through education, whether that's through jobs, whether that's through consultation, whether that's through charms or things that I could carry just to ensure that my process was smoother. Does that negate my experience from, or sorry, does that make it easier compared to someone who doesn't have these things? No, I still have to do the same work, right? But it helps me get through my process and feel more confident in my process to achieve it the way that I want to, because that's just how it's been for me.
Being able to, like, work with the energies, might as well.
Right. And and just also finding that, like, no, having there's a lot of things that you can do to help strengthen your business through brujeria. And while I haven't tapped into all of them, I've done a lot of the work that I've done has been straight effort, and time and blood, sweat, and tears, and trying to get things done. But definitely there have been some benefits of being able to be like, that might not be a good decision, or that might not be a good business partner. You might not want to do that one.
Oh, yeah, right.
And having that foresight, like, thank you, Bruja.
Yes, period. Might as well, use it to your advantage.
Might as well, because not everything is meant to be sometimes. And depending on the amount of money on the line, you need that consultation to make sure it's straight, So that's what it's definitely been for me. Before I get into the question, because we have questions for y'all, but my first question: what is Prospering Clarity Botanical? Because I think your element or your perspective in in the business side, because we're Bruja Behavior, right? So we're Brujas, but then our behaviors consist of a lot of business elements. So what is Prospering Clarity Botanical? Let's start with that.
Prospering Clarity Botanical is, of course, my business. And I wanted to start it because for me, coming into brujeria, so it's like also bringing in brujeria and business together, where I realized what I wanted to bring into the world. Because if I'm going to do something, I want to do something that I'm completely passionate about. Right. And I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm talking about. And something that's going to fulfill me in my life. So being able to be in the nonprofit where I'm able to, like, really be community oriented and wanting to help other people, I was like, what's a way where I'll be able to really help people? And it's through healing with a lot of stuff. Because the reason why I even began brujeria in the first place is to start my own healing journey, to be able to heal myself from a lot of mental health I was dealing with when it came to, like, depression, anxiety, And I wanted to be able to now bring those products to everybody else in the world. So Prospering Clarity Botanical is that safe space to be able to finally come back, be able to have a place where you'll be able to heal and become the best version of you, no matter what it is.
That's the main goal, right? That is the gist. At the end of the day, some people open business for the simple fact of making money. Yeah. There are some people who do it because they see a problem that needs to be fixed. Some people do it because this worked for me and I have to give it to the world.
Yeah. Can't gatekeep it.
I can't. Because it helps too many people. And I feel like sometimes it's selfish to withhold it and only keep it for yourself and not share it when you see so many people are hurting.
Yeah, so many people are hurting. And mostly I've been seeing a lot of people that are just stuck and stagnant.
Right. So what is something that you would say people are actually receiving when they buy one of your products? Or if you want to share some of the products that you offer or that you're planning to offer.
The products that I'm selling are spiritual baths, soaps, and incense. So I'm coming out with 2 collections, where one collection is going to be the cleansing collection, which is going to be able to help, cleanse your aura, be able to remove a lot of stagnant energy. If there's any heavy energy too, to be able to just remove it, for you to be able to finally just get a sense of, like, clarity, a sense of just being able to take a deep breath and, like, start seeing things. a lot clearer. And then the other collection is the protection collection, where then, because after you cleanse, you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself. You are getting more into like the spiritual hygiene. So I feel like when you do get my products, it's like you're really getting hygiene, because of course it's going to remove any germs and everything, but we miss the energetic part of what we have, our aura. And that's not something they're just selling at Walmart. At Lush, no, they're not selling any of that. So it's like when you get my products, I feel like you're getting more than just what it is. You're getting the full cleanse. You're getting the full protection. Just thinking of being able to really scrub everything from the inside and out.
Right. And girl, we could talk about spiritual hygiene. I'm really happy that you touched on that, or that you used those words exactly. Because spiritual hygiene, your spiritual hygiene need to be on point, baby.
Yeah.
Some people don't realize. They like, you carry stuff, you pick up stuff, you insert, you know what I'm saying? Especially depending on the type of work that you do. Right? Some people are constantly around people. I literally just made a video about this the other day. Like, you are constantly around energy you're picking up. It's draining.
It is draining.
You then come home, you sit on your couch,
and you're questioning, why do I have this headache?
Exactly. Why do I have this headache? Why am I so overstimulated? What's agitating me? And it's, babes, you might need to go clean yourself. You need to go get rid of that. And the easiest way is by going to take a spiritual bath, or getting some soap, or burning some incense to cleanse the air around you. Like, or if you ever had somebody come to your house and they got a stank attitude, and then now everybody in the house is agitated and arguing. No, you need to go clean that energy out, babes. And sometimes sage ain't enough.
No.
Sage is not enough. You need a nice, good mix of herbs that have an intention to clear and cleanse the space. So that's what I think of when I think of your products. I'm super excited. Now, I know I kind of touched on what I do business wise. Did I touch on what exactly I do? Or
no,
not
you
really?
need to go in depth to it, because
I run Allurium. I'm thinking of dropping marketing, so we're just going to call them Allurium. But my groundwork, or my starting, was in the fact that I wanted to help bring messaging across for small businesses, or businesses in general, right? I feel like marketing or branding strategy, which is what I'm really getting into, strategy in general, is not something that you're just born with. I know that there's a lot of tools out there that can try to tell you what a strategy is. But the thing is, if you just don't have the knowledge behind a successful strategy, or how the human mind works, or just people and the needs, and you can't connect with people and the needs, you need help. And it's okay to say that. And that's where I come in. I like building strategy for companies and brands. I like graphic work, so I do a lot of things around there. I do photography, I do videography, I do background. So there's a lot of elements that I can help with, and that's kind of where my goal is. So like, even with the doctor's office that we were talking about, a lot of my work was getting clients in the door, and I didn't even realize it as like a strategy of me doing what I do now, but that was marketing. I had to market getting people to come in, or just making the appropriate connections so that we can get referrals. Like, those things matter, right? And then even too, word of mouth matters, and giving people an experience so that they can go and tell someone else to come. That's marketing, right? So it took a while for me to make the connections, but here I am today, and I've been very successful so far. So I'm very happy for myself.
Yes, clap. And I'm glad you're talking about strategy, because I do have a question.
Oh, okay.
What does it feel like to be the most strategic person in a spiritual place?
Whoo, child. Like, I have the upper hand. I'm always 2 steps ahead. I feel like, as a Capricorn, because I'm a Capricorn, I naturally step into that element of,
girl, you read down. Don't even have to say a peep.
I'm always aware. I'm always pattern observing. I'm making connections. I'm trying to put two and two together, but I'm also thinking of what's the best strategy or what's the best approach in dealing with everyday things. So when we're in a spiritual room and we're around other spiritual folk, um, you know, the stories, some of the stories you hear are true, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that there are some people who do spiritual work who are just genuinely evil. Like they just like doing bad stuff. They like taking your energy because they have evil in them, or they have and when I say evil, I don't want to say like a dark energy, but that they are not healed enough to be around people who are glowing, who have so much to live for, who are working, who are just a ball of light. They don't know how to take that,
Yeah.
right? And so what they do is they project, they steal, they energy vampire, as they say, and they do a bunch of things that are just not conducive or just not helpful, right? So when I'm in these rooms, I'm a little bit more aware than I normally would be because those people do exist. But I'm also thinking of how I can, use this connection that we have right here to help benefit somebody else who might actually need I might actually need that. Because the other thing too, as spiritual folk, that a lot of people don't do is a lot of people like to try to do everything when that's not their thing, right?
Yeah.
There's just certain places that, like, you might be a herbal worker and that's what you do. That's just what you do. You're the best at that. Be the best at that. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be the best reader. You're the best. You could do the best concoctions in you could heal somebody. You know what I mean?
Not even having to read.
That's
like just
gift.
Straight.
Or if I can tell you, yo, right here is hurting, and you be like, let me do this little mixture of concoction and of this and that, and then drink it. And you know what I'm saying? And you help that person. So it's like seeing what everyone else does and then figuring out what role they can play in helping someone else. I think that's what it is for me when I'm in a spiritual room. You know, that's how I strategize. How do you explain your products or what you offer to people who are not necessarily believers? Or have you even been in that position yet? Or have you thought about, like, or if you haven't been in that position yet, have you thought about what you would say to someone?
I haven't been in that position yet.
Okay.
But I feel like what I would do is go more into like aromatherapy, because at the same time, like, people are still out there buying Lush products.
Right.
And for me, it's like more of a stronger Lush product than what they would send, because it's all very synthetic. So whenever I do talk to people, I go more of like the holistic aromatherapy route.
Right.
Because we're using organic.
Right.
Literally like organic ingredients where it's actual plants, and actually being able to work with the vibrational like powers that they have and bring it into a product to actually, show it. So it's coming more in like a holistic healing aspect of how I would describe my products.
Absolutely. But can we also just say a lot of these religions that are outside of ours, they use incense too.
Yeah.
Right?
Hello, Catholics.
Yes,
they be in La Misa. They have their whole thing where they're going like this. So you're using resin. And that's exactly what I have in my products too, where it's actual resin that's in there that they use all the time. It's even in the Bible, they have it in there.
And then also the Muslims use the incense as well. So it's an incense in general.
And then holy water.
And holy water is used in a lot of different things. So
how did they make that water holy? Let's clock that tea.
Let's clock it. Like, so these are real questions, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely so I've always wondered like what you would say, because I know we haven't. I haven't. So I'm happy
online. Like, broke the ice a little bit to get me thinking.
Because I definitely wondered, like, well, even with this pod, there's gonna be people who know both of us professionally, or who
they're gonna stumble upon this. Hi.
They might know us and be like, you do what? And it's like, well, how do you explain what we do? This is my practice. This is how I move with my life.
It's the same way people, like you were saying, like how they practice being Muslim, how they practice being Catholic, how they practice being Christian. It's just in our own way. It's a religion that's been here for how long? Longer than a lot of these new age religions that people are following.
Right.
And it's just me just going into it. I feel like another thing I would do too is just it's a religion that I've done that's been passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, it's sacred. It's something that, is very, if we want to talk about native almost, right?
Yeah.
So if you can appreciate the sentiment from Dr. Sebi, using him as
Yeah.
an example,
He's a good example.
if you could take his products with confidence, what's the difference?
Exactly.
Right? It's just, we put a little bit more intention in it, but no one. I think that's thinking of that is a good, it's a good place to start, because I wondered myself, like, how would I explain what I'm doing? And it's like, listen, this is what it is. You either take it, you leave it. You don't like it, bye. Hit the road. Arriva dirty. Don't let the door. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Kick rocks.
Yes.
Like I'm so good, but you know what I mean. So that's definitely something that I wanted to ask. Um, do you have any other questions before we jump into hot takes?
Just one more question.
Okay.
Just one more question for you.
Okay.
So before we go into hot takes, we're going to get a little personal.
Oh, okay.
What's a misconception people have about you when they first meet you?
Oh, baby, there's a couple. Okay, let me start. let me start. Number one, that I'm a bitch. I'm not.
No.
I'm just have a really, really like low tolerance for bullshit. I'm also a bullshit detector. So if I know that you're bullshitting, I immediately am disinterested. Like, yeah. I'm disinterested. But I also, because I'm very pattern oriented, and this is something that I've realized about myself, because I'm pattern oriented and I can kind of tell, and I'm always thinking, I think that's a little intimidating to some people because they don't know how to approach me, right? But at the end of the day, I'm living a human experience just like you are.
Yeah.
I'm not a performative friend. I've never been that type of person. So we can be in work settings and everyone be having a great time, having a great experience. And in my mind, I'm thinking about the fact that I walk by you every single day and we never say anything to each other. Why am I doing it now? We don't say anything to each other. What's the you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I going to sit here and pretend because we're all together? You know what I mean? I don't have that capacity. I'm sorry. I just don't. And either you love it or you hate it. Like, yeah. It just is what it is. But I'm also one of the realest, kindest, down to earth people that you can meet in your life.
The most beautiful heart.
Oh,
the most beautiful heart.
Thank you. I mean, I try to be as loyal as possible to all of my friends and give them all of the love that I possibly can.
And you are, but I'm just so happy that you protect your energy at the end of the day. And I feel like that's what people don't like, because people like to take. They love ass kissing.
Oh my God.
But with you, like, you have the purest heart for the purest people.
No, I try. I really do try. So I really do appreciate that you saying that, because I feel like you do too. And you, to me, like,
I need to take a page out of your book because I'm too nice.
No, I definitely, like, I have so much that I try to do, and one of the biggest barriers for me is that I'm not someone that everyone likes immediately.
And that's okay. Because, again, it's a protection thing. I feel like I hope that you're able to, like, really see it, because imagine the amount of, like, times you protected yourself because of that.
Yeah.
The amount of bullshit you were able to, like,
honey,
get out of.
I am like, I'm out of here. I don't even care what's going on over here. I'm out. All right. I'm hitting the road. But I definitely get what you're saying. Like, it definitely has protected me a lot, and I'm quick to be like, nope, I'm good, and just be fine. But I definitely, it's something that crosses my mind. Like, damn, why is it that I'm the only one over here? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or it's so hard to just get people to understand me. But it's just like, they're not meant to understand.
They're not meant to understand you.
They're just not, and they're stuck in a certain pattern in the matrix.
Yes.
That you are not in. Now, the Matrix is something you're going to hear a lot in this pod, because it's something that I like to describe this world as being. Now, if you ever watched the movie The Matrix, you take one pill and you decide the vision of the world that you get, right? You take one or the other. And I feel like each and every day we deal with Matrix shit.
We do.
Right? And it's a pattern. right? You go in, you go to work, you do this, you do that, the same thing all the time. And spirituality has helped me get out of that matrix mentality and see life for what it truly is. So I don't embark in matrix shit a lot of the time. I have to for the sake of living, right? But as long as as long as I'm not rich and this pod is not at 1 million subs, I have to continue to live in the matrix shit. But I definitely, I try not to embark too much, just because it does take a mental toll.
It does.
And because you have foresight and a third eye that's able to see beyond what the average people see. It becomes a little isolating sometimes, and until you find other like-minded individuals who see things the way you do, you spend a lot of time on your own.
Yeah, you really do.
So I definitely see how being in that environment can impact mental health in a sense, to a certain extent. But I feel like that's what people get wrong about me.
Yeah.
What's something you feel like people get wrong about you?
I don't know. I really wish I had like.
Or do you not care? Like, F it.
No, because I do care.
Okay.
I do care. It's just, again, I'm too nice.
Oh, she's the sweetest.
I'm too nice.
Okay, let me tell you. Her.
That's kind of what I'm working through right now.
She's an acts of service kind of person. That's what I've learned about you. Like, she will do, like, she'll serve you. She'll come over. She'll make sure you're fine. And honestly, depending on how much she'll rub your feet.
Yo, dead ass.
Depending on how much she like you, she gonna take care of you. But that's her way of loving, right? I feel like a lot of people take advantage or can take advantage of that.
So then I guess, yeah, like a misconception is that like people really think that they could play me in front of my face.
Yep.
Like that's definitely a huge one. They think that they could, like I said, play me in front of my face, but not realize the power I really have, which is why I just stay, I stay quiet. I stay very, very quiet, because once I have to unleash the beast, there's no going back.
Listen, don't talk to me about the beast, because you know my thoughts about the beast.
Yeah,
babes, that's not a problem.
That's why I'm good to show face, be cute and sweet, and then if I gotta go, I just block you.
Yeah, and of course, like I definitely I get that is a thing, right? That some people might see your kindness and be like, oh, she's a weak bitch.
She easy.
Or I don't gotta take her serious. She ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people who just think like that. Like they automatically assume they start, if in the female world, start dropping their tits. Like, I'm her. I'm head honcho. And it's like, until you meet the real her and see that she's not gonna just take that in her capacity. She might not react the way you want her to react, right? When a lot of people dropping their tits and they're on 10, they want you to come on 10. She gonna still hit you with a soft 5, maybe a 3, right? But when she go home,
oh yeah, it's a whole different story, baby.
Then you go home, you might not wake up in the morning.
You might not. Have fun in your dreams.
Have fun, because I'm gonna haunt you, bitch. No, I'm gonna haunt you, bitch. Like, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I would say. For me, what I took from you is she was just so sweet. She was one of, and remember, my first experiences of her were in the work environment. She was so sweet. She was hardworking. She was teachable. She was willing to learn. She always had, good energy, right? She was very happy to be at the workplace. The patients loved her. She was very compassionate to their needs, and those were things that I felt like at the time were essential for the position. And they're still in alignment with who she is. She's still compassionate to people's needs and wants, and she does pay extra close attention. You can tell her something and she'll remember that little detail about you and bring it up later, or I can remember, I think I mentioned something that I wanted or that I discussed with her one time, and she brought it to me for, I think it was my birthday or something.
Oh yes.
Like,
I always think about the little details.
Like,
yep.
You remembered.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty. That is who she is. And like, it's truly a blessing to be your friend, to be your guide, to be all of these different
No, it's
things.
a blessing to have you, because for me to be able to have such a safe space to do that, like, you don't understand.
No, no,
It's amazing.
and that's important. Safe spaces are
Yeah.
critical in your growth process. So if you're trying to find yourself right now, and you're trying to grow in some capacity, you need a safe space to do it.
Yes.
Find your people. Sometimes your people are not who you think it
Family.
is. It's not who you think it is. It's not family. It might not even be
Friends that you've known
that
for like 10
friend.
years.
It's someone who just so happened to come into your life, who listens to you, who understands what's going on, who's not judging you, who's holding you accountable.
Yeah, because you need that.
Because accountability is a big part, but are giving you that space to just be. And I feel like that's what I've gotten from this friendship over all these years.
Same.
But now we're going to jump into the hot
Okay,
takes.
hot takes.
You want to do the first one?
Okay, bet. So the hot take I want to bring up is the healing era is everywhere right now. Are people actually healing or just rebranding their avoidance?
Oh, what do you think? You go first.
It's both.
It
It's
is.
just this hot take really got me thinking both ways, because
Right.
I've stumbled upon it in both ways. Where, for example, if I were to ask myself this question, I would honestly say that I'm actually healing, and that's because I'm taking self accountability this time.
Right.
Like, I'm actually seeing shit for what it is, but also too, like, seeing things that are in my control and what I need to learn. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to healing, it's like I had to really face my shadow side,
Right.
whether I liked it or not.
Right.
I had to see it, because it was things that I just had to learn. So I feel like for me, I'm definitely in my healing era because of that. But I do still see people that are just being avoidant. And it's mainly just those that, like, those energy vampires that are trying to act like, oh, I'm here, I'm trying to heal or whatever. Or they're trying to come at me like, pour into me like, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me. And I'm like, baby, but, like, are you going to heal yourself?
But so that's what I was going to say. Because there's some people who they say, I'm on a healing journey, but then they don't do the work. Bitch,
Exactly.
Sorry, not bitch, but girl, you've been on a healing journey for like a year and two. Like,
No,
like,
not even for a year,
years.
baby. For like the past 5.
My whole life knowing you've been on a healing journey.
And you know what? Like, it's okay, but like,
Yes.
it comes to a point where it's like, you have to do it for yourself, because
Right.
I'm here to help.
Right.
But I'm here to help if you're trying to help yourself.
No, seriously. Or what also happens is that, okay, I get, because when we all have traumas in life,
Yeah.
right? We all have things that's going on. So some things take longer to heal from, right? Or you're constantly learning new things about yourself that are unhealed. That
That was swept
checked.
under the rug that you
Right.
didn't even realize.
But my thought process is that at the very least you'd be more progressed than when I last saw you. And there's some people who haven't progressed at all.
Yeah.
Who you can tell. And when I say that, you can literally see that they're still on the same type of time that they was on. They're still thinking the same way, behaving the same way, having the same issues when they last saw you, right? They're not truly growing. Versus those who are growing and they're making changes and they're making strides, but they might be struggling with this one little thing that they're still healing from or they're still growing past, right? That's different.
Yeah.
That's very different. And that's where I say what you said. So I agree with everything that you stated. I definitely think it's a twofold thing. It's different. Like, it really depends, right? It really depends on the situation. I've seen both.
Yeah.
But I definitely think if your healing journey is real, you'll know it. You'll feel it. It's something that can't be denied.
You can't.
Because
And
it's an
don't think it's going to
energetic
be like all rainbows and sunshine. You're
No.
going to be meditating, doing
No.
yoga. No. Like,
No.
you're going to be crying.
Yup.
You're going to be mad. Like, it's going to literally, like, hit you to your core.
No, right. And that's part of healing that is so ugly that folks don't like talking about.
Yeah. That's why, like, I liked how the question was phrased, because either you're going to face it or you're going to really be on that avoidance.
Yup, you're gonna act like it's not there. And honey, avoiding it only buries the issue deeper, but at some point it comes out, because again, like, what everything you put in the dark comes to the light, it's gonna come back up, because usually the unhealed relive or unearth things that are hidden.
Yeah.
It's just gonna hit you at it might hit you in a place where you didn't think about it. You weren't even, oh yeah, it's in the back of my mind. I'm healed from it. I'm gone. And then suddenly
Then
you're
you get
questioning.
tested.
Exactly.
Because then it's going to come to you like
exactly.
very unexpected and hit you like a ton of bricks.
And then that's where it becomes real. So I definitely like that take. I definitely had. So another hot take. Not every bruja is your homegirl. Have you learned that the hard way, and what happened?
Oh my God, yes.
So have you ever had a bruja homegirl who you've been like,
Yes, but
okay,
thankfully it wasn't like a friend, it was
okay,
coworker.
Okay.
So for me, like I said, I'm super nice, I'm very bubbly, and I like really working together.
Right.
So in my situation, it was more of like, of course they were my friends, but like every time I'm at work, I want to have a vibe, especially with my department. Like I want to be able to come in, say good morning. Right. Or wait, let me not say good morning because we're not morning, baby.
Grand rising.
I like to, tell everyone, buenos dias. And, see what's up and just kind of keep that energy going. So I was having this really good energy at first with this coworker of mine, but then they just automatically switched on me. And they started making me, like, they literally, like, berated me for doing my job. So then now my light was becoming an annoyance to them because they're a miserable bruja. Then, I started telling Padrino about what was going on. And he's like, you're up against a bruja right now.
And don't even realize it.
And you don't even realize it. Going back to what we said earlier, right. Like these brujas and brujos are everywhere. So I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm over here. I just want to be peaceful. I just want to come do my job and just go home and like, do that. So I started realizing that I was being put up against them. And what was the question?
And the question was, how did you have to learn the hard way, and if so, what happened, or what happened with the situation?
So it really did have me, learn it the hard way because it showed me again, not everyone's your friend. You have to make sure that you are setting boundaries, and you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself and also keeping up with your spiritual hygiene as much as possible, because the amount of dark energy that she was just pouring towards me was just accumulating after like accumulating so much to where I was feeling drained every time I was getting out of work.
So she was sucking you dry.
Yeah, she was trying to suck out my light. Like,
pause.
Actually, yeah, no, pause, because I would never give her that access.
Not that type of day, honey.
No.
No. My thing, see, in my case, my thing is in the work world, I don't know, ain't nobody a homegirl or homeboy unless I've been to your house, we done hung out.
Yeah,
you ain't a homeboy or a homegirl. But there's people that I've encountered who are also spiritual, who I had to be polite with or play nice with, especially in the work environment, right? And this one particular person, I had to learn the hard way because it was brought to my attention that this person does stuff outside of work that they may not have shared. Now, they did mention to me in little ways. I guess they were trying to pry information from me at the time to see if I would open up about who I was and what I did. But like I said, I'm very protective about what I do. I believe in God. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Right? Because I do. And I'm not lying.
Exactly.
I'm just not going into details with you about my journey, my my process. So it was something that I kept to myself. Now, this person, I did a self-reading for, which you should never do, but I mean, you could, but I did like a 3-card spread reading on the situation. And on one of my tarots are like artistic kind of. It was a it was New York. It was a baseball game, and it was a Yankees versus Red Sox game card that came out for the future card.
Symbolic.
Which is very symbolic because, they are always a rivalry. There's always a rivalry between the two. And I didn't understand. And the way that I interpreted the cards was that as of right now, it's all peachy cool. Everything's great. Mind you, we're seeing each other every day. We're being cool, but be wary. So of
Yeah.
course, immediately I went and I asked our godfather, like, "Yo, Tata, let me know what's up." And it was stated, it was confirmed that tread extremely lightly, don't share too much, and keep your distance. I did for the most part, until that distance became until I caught myself trying to be a good friend. And I and when I say a good friend, I mean like forewarning you, like, hey, you might not want to do that. That's not a good idea. And that person switched. That person stood to themselves. They started, texting me and made crazy long messages about how I made them look and all this other stuff. Mind you, the conversation that I had was with them directly and
Yeah.
privately. Um, and then next thing you know, I'm a lesbian. I'm a lesbian.
Whoa.
And, and I'm a lesbian. I'm in love with people who I've vented to them work wise about. And um, I'm someone who can't be trusted. And I just thought it was the most wild way of thinking, and just how did this get from surmount into this big ball of drama.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I learned my lesson with that one. That one prize on drama and lives through it. And that's why things don't always work out in their favor, and shit happens, babes.
Exactly. So let's see the next hot topic. That was a good
Yes,
one. I like
yes.
it's crazy how we both had coworkers.
That's what I'm saying, because it's literally I don't have those problems with my friends, right?
Me either,
Because my
yeah.
friends are my friends, and I know what's up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have a lot of bruja friends either.
Yeah, me either.
So it just is what it is. But go ahead, girl, or that I know of, because a lot of them might be just as secretive as me. But go ahead.
Can you be a bruja and still be the most logical person in the room, or does one cancel the other out?
Oh no, babes, you can definitely be the most logical person in the room and not be a bruja.
I agree.
Because some logic is logic. Logic is something that you're just
It's
born
common
with.
sense.
It's common sense a lot of the time. I don't think brujeria uh takes away, you know what I'm saying, like it's a requirement in order for you to be a logical person. I definitely think it adds.
It does.
It adds, and it does make you a stronger logical person, because now you have another place to form your logic. But I definitely don't think it's a requirement now.
I agree.
Yeah, that one's easy. That was easy one. The next hot take is, can your spiritual practice actually be thriving if your finances aren't? Or are those two separate conversations?
I think it could definitely be thrive.
Yeah.
It'll always thrive, because the biggest thing to make your spirituality thrive is your connection to the actual spirits, because they know what your situation is.
Absolutely.
If you're like really broke, they understand that, because at the end of the day, like what they care for is just the discipline, the connection, and also the discipline that you have to them, because they care about you more as family than anybody than you think.
Absolutely. And so even when your fund is low, you got an orange, you got a banana,
Yeah,
you got a plate of food, you got to eat.
you got a little tea light
You gotta
candle.
eat. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do something. They'll take it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not. I don't feel like they're so. It has to be a
You
a
gotta
real
give.
offering. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It has to be like, listen. You work with what you've got, and they know your situation. So
And that's how they used to do it back in the day.
Yeah.
They were working with what they got. We
Yes.
didn't have this much access to like money, because everything was trading.
Exactly. You might not always have it for a nice fancy cigar. Maybe you need to go and get you a Bluntville and a Dutch and call it a day.
Yo,
Like, that's just what it is. At the end of the day, it's the intention behind what it is that you're doing that I think matters more than the fancy.
Yeah.
Right? Do finances help? Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. And do they open up opportunities for you to do more? Absolutely. But finances are not a requirement, and you can equally serve your spirits with the same intention, with the same passion, with the same love, without finances. You might not be able to get the best reading. You might not be able to do a bunch of extra stuff that you want to do, but No.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, they're gonna take care of you. If they see that
Yeah.
your heart's in it, they're
Yeah.
gonna take care of you and bring you the money.
And if your finances are not where they need to be and you're doing spiritual work, then I'm going to question, are you speaking to your spirits about finances and making sure that you have the money to take care of them properly? That's where we need to be doing.
Facts.
That's what we need to be manifesting and having conversations about, because clearly they want to be taken care of too. So if you're not asking for it, it's not going to be brought
Loose.
loose.
Okay, my last hot take.
Yeah.
Spirituality without strategy is just a vision board. Do you agree, or are you coming for me? Girl. Not chewing my Pinterest. Like.
So spirituality without strategy is just a village. I mean, yeah, it's just something that you're talking, because you're not doing, you're not executing, you're not giving a chair. No,
100%. Because what brings the spirituality together is you actually putting in the work.
Facts.
Because if you just keep it in your vision board, then it's really just a vision board.
It's just
like
something you're doing. It's just something, or you
something
just,
collecting dust.
exactly, or you just keep talking about what you're gonna do
Over
it's
and
like
over and
talking
over
about
again.
what you're gonna do and then not actually going out and executing. Like, I have a business. Okay, great, I have a business. Are you working on your business? Are you doing anything with your business? Are you networking for your business? No. Same exact concept.
Period.
And my final hot take for the day is, how do you personally tell the difference between someone who is genuinely spiritual and someone who just has the aesthetic? I can say,
Yeah.
you're thinking what you're thinking. I could tell based on your energy. I'm an energy reader, though. You understand? I could feel when it's real. I could feel when you're just talking gibberish. But that's also my capability in reading, right? Not everyone has that. The only other way that I can think would be, let me see what you got.
Yeah. To me, it's definitely about like how they talk.
Yeah.
Because you could tell a lot by like the way they talk about things and stuff,
Yeah.
and being able to like kind of read the room when they're around.
Right. I mean, think about the IG brujos and brujas and the stuff that we see. Some of them seem like they know what they're talking about, right? But then you actually look. Oh my god! Then you actually
How did that go through?
I have no clue. You actually look and at what they got going on, and you're like, I don't see. Well, for example, they're doing a candle job, but then there's no sigil.
Yeah.
How? So you're just doing the job? You didn't draw anything to.
How are you opening up the portal?
Exactly.
How are you communicating?
Who you?
How are you dialing the number?
Like, exactly. Like, little details like that kind of make it like little things that are necessary in making sure that you do things. Or when they have all the cookie cutter bruja stuff, that shit turns me off. They have you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The stuff that everyone always says that you're supposed to have. If you have everything that everyone says you're supposed to have, I kind of look at you weird. Because not everything you're supposed to have.
Exactly, no, because every bruja is so different.
Exactly. So
also, too, like, depending on, like, which type of, like, deities they're talking about, too, because it's, like, you're not supposed to just get any deities. You need to know, like, what you walk with before getting anything. So that's, like...
I hate when I hear someone say that they're a child of... but they've never been crowned.
And they never, no, the biggest gag is that, like, they never even had a reading done.
What?
To, like, know.
Someone told me that I'm a child of so-and-so, and it's like, okay, did you ever get confirmation? Did you do a white table? Did you ever get a group of elders together to be able to really talk about what it is that's going on with you? You can definitely tell, but, so those are all of our topics today. I hope that you learned a little bit about us, who we are, what it is that we do. Some of our goals with the pod in the coming weeks are to open up some different topic lines. We want to bring in some alignments. We want to bring in some consejitos.
Yes.
We also want to open. We want to hear from you.
Please.
What are some things you want to hear from them, girl? Tell them.
Oh, so like, what's some things I want to hear from them?
Yeah, we want to hear your tea. We want to hear your confession. What else?
Yeah, like let us know like where you're at on your healing journey. We would love to like, read through the comments and see. And definitely, ask us any questions, any topics that you want us to cover.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And if you guys have anyone that you want to see up here, because we want Botanica, leaders, we want different perspectives to be up here to talk to y'all. So if there's anyone that has interest, of course, we're going to scope you out.
Of course.
You ain't just going to be up here. That has interest, definitely pull up or just tell them, hit us up or refer them to us. We will be having a live email soon for you guys to be able to submit this information to, so you can get in touch with us. But in the meantime, you could always just straight DM us. Our information will be located down below, but I'll also make sure that it pops up right here for you guys so you guys can follow us. And we do have some questions for you guys, some fan questions. So first, let us know in the comments. Are you more strategic or more intuitive, or have you figured out how to be both?
Okay.
Let us know. The other is, what's a belief you grew up with that you had to completely unlearn as an adult?
That one's a good one. I wish I had that question. So please leave it down below because that's a good one. Oh my God.
And the final question is there someone in your life who doesn't know this side of you exists? Why do you keep it from them? Let us know.
Let us know. We need to know the tea, baby.
We need to know the tea. And then let us know so that we can let you know. Right?
Yes.
Or so that the other people who are watching us who are also in tune can let you know too. This is a great episode, girly. Great.
Yes,
first
we
episode.
finished first up.
Do the Santana. But definitely make sure you hit this button right here. And if you love us and you really like what you're seeing, hit this button right here too.
Yes.
This is important. But yeah, this is Bruja Behavior. And where?